Welcome back to the Coach Cameron Soccer Podcast. Today I have Michael Carotenuto with me, a good friend of mine. He's a play-by-play announcer, host, reporter, and producer. Currently he's working with NBC Sports Radio on 1060. Is that where you're on, Michael?
Yes, we were. The show's on a little bit of a sabbatical, but yes.
Well, so what have you been doing? It's been a long time since we've done anything together.
I know. I've done actually a good amount of soccer games. Just been doing play-by-play for Prep Spotlight. And, yeah, I've done covering a lot, doing a lot of club volleyball, some other club soccer stuff. So, yeah, trying to stay busy, just calling games, doing more stuff, and now everything's on hold for obviously big reasons, understandably why, but yeah, so now just working on some recruiting, actually football recruiting stuff and other recruiting videos, stuff like that. So trying to stay busy, but it's getting a little hard to. But I do, so whatever I
get it.
Stay busy, I'm all for it.
So like ever since I did the color with you when we were at Coronado High School, was that the first game we did when Coronado was playing somebody? I think it was a semifinal game. But
Campo Verde, yeah.
Well, we did a game at Coronado High School too, or not Coronado and Campo Verde. So we've done a couple, but
right.
It's been a while. But I've been practicing, so this will be. I believe this is gonna be podcast 472. So you're gonna be episode 472, which is pretty cool. And I'm trying to be better, so the next time you call me to be a color for you, I won't butcher it. I've been preparing.
You didn't butcher it last time.
Oh,
come on.
We're
talking soccer. You never butchered it.
Oh, yeah, well, you're easy to deal with, but when I was with other people, professionals that had no clue about soccer, man, it was dead silence, and I just had to make up stuff on the fly. But yeah. So, do you have any besides this coronavirus and all that stuff? Whatever. I don't even want to talk about that. Do you have any idea what AIA is doing with, Prep Spotlight and broadcasting soccer games in the future? It's pretty cool for a while, but then it disappeared.
This season, I know AZ Preps I know had done games, but because this was the third season of Prep Spotlight. So the first season it did a bit more soccer. Last season literally just did one playoff game, but this season I did a good amount of soccer games. So Prep Spotlight, they definitely covered quite a bit. It's obviously a ton of basketball too. It's basketball and soccer, but yeah, I pretty much did every soccer game we had. I saw your good buddy Drew in Campo Verde a few times because it's nice to get double headers since he's coaching both teams. Who else was I? I saw.
Well, we're all
Harry.
Well, besides all that, we're all in a big revolt right now against this championships at Campo Verde and these random places that are not set up for TV and radio or anything like that. And every year at the coaching meeting, it's like everyone looks forward to my comments at the AIA meetings because I always scream out change of venue because it's ridiculous. Like the soccer games sell out for the state championship games, but then they'll put us at 4:00 on artificial turf facing the sun, which is crazy. I didn't even know that was possible. So at Coronado High School, so I had Millennium High School at Coronado, and their field goes with the sun. It goes east and west. So you're looking into the sun, and it's a huge disadvantage for whoever's looking at it. And so only football field that I've ever played on that was going the direction of the sun, east to west.
East-west, right.
And, of course, that's where they take it because, you can't say too much about AI, but I will always. They don't care about soccer. They just let's just get it over with. I just wish they would take a little bit more pride and put some work into it and get us at Grand Canyon University or a facility. They're like, oh, what if it rains? But Grand Canyon can handle it. Anyways, I'm off of that soapbox, but it'd be nice to have it at Grand Canyon.
But don't they have? Yeah, but I know. But Campo Verde, I mean, from what I've heard, I mean, I think they're pretty much done wanting to host in a way.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I know that I mean, it's been like Campo and Williams Field, and I know they try to spread things out in the valley. I mean, football, the state championships are obviously either been at Sun Devil Stadium or down in Tucson at U of A at Arizona Stadium. So that's the setup for that. I mean, Grand Canyon would be great. I know they did the volleyball there, the girls volleyball championships there quite a few years back, and maybe twice. But then after that, who knows what went down? But after that, they do them at Mesquite, which again, you have a lot of, sometimes you have, some not East Valley schools in there and coming to Mesquite for the championship now they moved it to, I know they've had them at, the last few seasons had it at, it was Wells Fargo, now Desert Financial. And basketball, they moved all around. So yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't go to someplace like Grand Canyon. That would be awesome. I know obviously ASU wouldn't fully work because the Sun Devil soccer stadium only has stands on one side. So that would kind of not be the venue one would want.
They've had it there before. Now, the thing is they're trying to ASU would be a great venue for 3A.
Right.
That would be a 3A location. And then Grand Canyon could host the 4A, 5A, 6A and do it in 1 week. Just the championship, not the semis. The semis, I don't even care about that. Just go through all the way to semis, home field advantage for whoever. But the championship game needs to be at a stadium. They complicate it, and it makes it horrible. And I know Grand Canyon will work with them. They act like they keep. I remember they're telling me. I was talking to one of them because I complain about it all the time. They're like, we reached out to Grand Canyon and it didn't work out. We called Peter Draxon. I'm like, Peter Draxon? He's not even the coach there anymore. They just, I think, just say things
it's not a surprise.
Yeah, but it is what it is. But eventually, they'll be forced to get better venues so that it's a safer, better soccer being played. Because when you play on turf fields, like they want to, because
we talked about it. I played. Well, I get that part, but in February, I don't think there's been some chilly nights, but when it's gone into the night at Campo. But during the day, I feel bad for the team that plays the second game because the sun's been pounding it for a while and it's hot, and plus, like I've said to you a million times before, obviously at that level and the players that you've had or just players that are there in general, the skill level, the precision's there. But having playing center mid, you like to give yourself at least a teeny bit of a window on passing. And if I skip a pass, if I switch sides of the field and I miss you by, a half a yard, which isn't much at all, obviously, on natural grass, I know you'll have a chance to run that down. Maybe the defender has a chance to run it down too, but I can't. If I miss you by half a yard on the field turf, that ball's skipping and flying. It doesn't matter how fast you are; you have no chance.
Yeah, it'll go out quite easily, and it's an advantage for a team that doesn't play soccer and they just bang it and hope, and it's always bouncing, it's always out of bounds. It ruins a game, and as a college recruiter, I don't like watching those games. I want to see if kids can play. And it's hard to see sometimes with some teams that take advantage of the hard surface. But anyways, let's talk more about you. So what are you doing? So how's the NBC Sports Radio doing for you?
Well, I mean, like I said, I was doing fine. I mean, but we're on a little bit of a sabbatical now, but I just kind of hop on Saturdays and I'll like Facebook Live we were going to talk about, what I obviously be talking about anyway outside of the coronavirus. And so now that I've had extra time, I've jumped on a few times throughout the week and checked things out. I think I gave you a shout out the other day about your instructional videos, how you're trying to not go too crazy. So I was like, oh man, I used to be able to do that pretty smoothly. It wouldn't look, so I was kind of mad at you because I was like, dang, he still looks smooth. But no, but yeah, so I'll just go on Saturdays so you'd be on and go just talk about things more so interactive. And then this is also actually working on, before all this came down, working on 2 ideas for 2 separate podcasts. One I just wanted to keep, I would have kept as a podcast. The other one I wanted to start as a podcast, but it's a kind of I wanted to do like a show, like have a radio show on it because no one is doing a show like that. And I was like, ooh, this is a simple idea. That's why I was able to come up with it, as we know. But so yeah, just working on ideas and stuff and looking at other jobs and, just trying to see what could possibly be out there. But hopefully we can get back to some semblance of sports this summer. And there'll be a little bit more to talk about. But I do have to admit, I enjoy watching these the classic games that I've seen. I was watching online the other day. You'd appreciate this one. I think it was when Manchester United won back-to-back EPL titles in 93 and 94, or 92 and 93, something like that. But I was watching the games and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, wow, look at that young talent on the field. So it's like, even though I know the results, and everybody's stuck with that. So, but yeah, I mean, it would be just staying busy with stuff like that and keeping up on things, and as much as there is to keep up on outside of NFL free agency and when other leagues think they're going to come back and start. I know the NBA proposed literally just getting the players from the teams in like basically one area and finishing out having the playoffs in one area, in one arena, but with no fans, because they do want to get this season in, but I don't think players want to do the whole without the fans thing, because I know from what I've gathered talking to a few people around Major League Baseball is that they just want it to be cleared. So even if they have to delay a little bit longer, but I don't know what's kind of the jumping off point to how long they would stay on for. So but yeah, I mean, just trying to stay sharp and busy like that, and hopefully people, listen and get through this as fast as possible.
I don't know. This is all crazy. I'm like, someone come with some flippin' astronaut mask that we can wear and we can rock and roll and just go look like idiots. Who cares? Let's just go. Even the basketball players, just put those on and just go. Kind of like, you ever seen that those soccer matches where they get in the bubbles and they run into each other full speed?
Oh yeah.
Just put that on their heads and let's go. Let's just
right.
And they can sub when they run out of oxygen. I'm not sure, but we got to get moving, but on something. So I'm taking up running now. I haven't ran in years, and so
what are you talking about? Don't you run? Don't you? I know you participate in your practices.
No,
but you run some there.
No, it hurts. But well, I've been doing Wim Hof. The Wim Hof method is the cold showers and deep breathing. I've been doing that over a year now. Trying to. It's funny. I took this on because it helps with like depression and a bunch of other things. But the whole point of taking these cold showers, you produce like a little bit of adrenaline every time you're in the shower. So when you take a cold shower, you're kind of freaking out. You're like, and then you do it and you freeze. When you do that, you produce a little bit of adrenaline. So legal steroids. And I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome. So I've been doing that for a year and a half, and it's supposed to like heal the body. And I've been fasting 16 to 20 hours a day. and this is another method I'm doing. Supposedly, when you don't eat, your body doesn't stop working. So if it's not digesting the food you ate, it's repairing your body. So I've been doing this for like a year, and I haven't ran in like long distance in like 14 years because I was supposed to get a microfracture surgery back in 2008, and I said no, and I said I'll just walk for the rest of my life. So I lost a bunch of weight. I've been in the Wim Hof method. I've been fasting, all in the thought process of I'm not going to get sick anymore, and I'm going to heal my body. And here we are with the coronavirus. So I'm ready for this thing, whatever it is. And I've been running the mountain like every day, and then I decided to run the long way. I'm at the Verado steps or the Victory steps, but so many people are on there. I'm like, I'm not going to run with those idiots and get disease. So I ran around it where there's no cell phone coverage or anything, and I was in the middle of freaking nowhere. But I went like 5 miles, and my knees don't hurt or my toes. I was supposed to get the Shaquille O'Neal surgery where you know how you got that toe surgery back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
I was supposed to get that in 2002. I said no. But I think I healed my body through fasting and doing the Wim Hof method. And people are like, oh, it's all in your head. I'm like, yeah, it is. And it feels great. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to go run the mountain again. Hey, guess who I have? I got a text from Alan Chapman. He's going to be my next on my podcast. You know Alan Chapman? He's the MLS referee of the year, 2-time MLS referee of the year. He used to play soccer here. He coached at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and we play together. And I actually paid for his first referee license back in like 2003. And I took it with him. We both got certified, and that was his first time taking the referee course. And he said he's going to become a super referee and it's going to change the game. And I'm like, whatever, you weirdo. And there he is. He's making 6 figures being a referee.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I know the name. I don't know personally, but I'm like, I've seen that somewhere before, and obviously that makes sense.
He looks exactly like me, like same face, bald, and a lot of people think I'm him and he's me or whatever, but he was the worst. Like, as a player, he would literally yell at referees, go nuts. I mean, he was nuts, crazy. He was the worst person when it came to abusing referees. He was by far the worst, and everyone would say that. And never in a million years I thought he'd become like a crazy referee after he abused all those people. Yeah. Now he's getting it. Now he's seeing what it's like. Except he's getting paid pretty good money for it. So anyway, so what else are you doing? We need to get MCTV back. They kind of like consolidated everything to Scottsdale Community College, I think. But
well, I mean, yeah, they pretty much district-wise dissolved MCTV. There's no like coverage like they used to do. The person, district, they can football, they keep other sports, and there's no coverage for the one thing that obviously always got the most views, which was sports. So yeah, it would be nice. But they dissolved it, and the full-time employees are just doing different things or cutting, everything's got to be short because, when you're teaching a class, classes are just like 2 to 3 minutes or like a minute to 2 minutes long. So yeah, it's all like just update social media things, like 1-minute videos, because, that's what you have to direct towards now. So yeah, I'm like, that is so pointless. I'm like, wow. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bummer that the other sports aren't getting coverage. I talked to our good buddy Jeff Lowry, and I'm like, I'm telling you, again, can't do it for free, but we figure stuff out because there's definitely a market to stream those games, and there's a lot of content. So it's kind of.
I've been streaming my own games because we don't have it anymore. So I'm like, and we lost Jim Howell. He's now at Grand Canyon University, and so I'm like, screw it. I just bought all the equipment, and I got alumni to do Facebook Live and all that stuff. And I'm like, we need that kind of production because I don't want to fall behind the world. I want to keep progressing because if you become stagnant, you'll be the next one cut. Right. So I'm trying to avoid that too and try and create relevance within soccer because I don't want to be the next group cut. So,
well, it would be nice to have a district that had vision too. So
it keeps changing. There's another chancellor, so we're hiring a new chancellor. We're going through that process, I guess. But
yes, I heard that, and I heard that allegedly the few candidates for chancellor. I don't know how. I'm not saying the person that told me this is a liar or anything. I don't know how close they were with it, but hearing that a few new chancellors were definitely in favor of wanting to bring back football and going from there. So I don't know. I just think it helps when you have. I mean, if you can have all these other conferences throughout the country that have football, and you're going to have an alleged task force that's unbiased, which really isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much. Coach Kersing did such a phenomenal job, as you know, with getting everybody involved, getting the message out there. People can say, "Oh, well, you just want football." Well, it's called opportunities. I mean, I had a ton of friends that had to go the JUCO route, and not all just because of, like you and I talked about in the past, because of grades. I mean, yes, in the 70s and 80s, and maybe even the early 90s, everybody knew if a good player was going to play at a junior college, it was because like they were just slacking off in the classroom and they couldn't get in. They couldn't get accepted to university. But now, I mean, like I've kidded around with you and other coaches in the past saying, well, whether parents are, how they're raising their kids, or these, kids feel entitled, they don't like their offers. There was so many more, maybe not so much. I mean, there was a few in soccer, but maybe not, but especially in baseball and football, and even sometimes in basketball too, there were so many more kind of one and dones because they had qualified. They just thought they deserved better offers. So like, well, I'll go here and see if, what they think from here, and play with the team that has a chance to win a national title and move on. And the whole dynamic of JUCO changed, and it just seems like the district never went with that.
Well, it's all about painting what the value is, and
right.
It is silly. So for me, if I didn't have the junior college platform, because I went to Phoenix College, I would have never went on to the university, right, which I went to Loyola Marymount University because I had to graduate because I wasn't a qualifier. And Phoenix College got me to the point where I'm like, okay, I can do this. I graduated high school with 1.9, so I didn't think there was a shot. And I'm the first and only college graduate in my family. And if it wasn't for the 2-year experience, I would have never went JUCO if it wasn't sports. There's no way. There's no flipping way. And I would not be on a podcast with you right now and think I would be even intelligent enough to even hold a conversation because I couldn't hold one in high school. I needed more help, and that's what it provided. And if you look at people like Jessica McDonald, who just won a World Cup, who won 2 national titles at North Carolina University, who is supposed to be in the Olympics this summer, if it wasn't for Phoenix College and women's soccer, our athletic program, she didn't have any of that, none of it. And it was a platform, and there's so many stories like that are now destroyed. And
because Jeff Lowry interviewed her, and I went with him that day actually because I had talked to you, but I had been out at talking to Coach. Even talking to Coach at the time, I was like, wow. And like she was out there, he's like, yeah. He goes, she needs to gain a little responsibility, but just watch her practice and play. And Jeff and I were out there, and Jeff's like, I get she looks good. And I was like, dude, she doesn't suck. She shouldn't be here. I'm like, so this is definitely one of those where hopefully I go and they have enough resources. They have resources here. She's got to take it seriously, though. I said, but she shouldn't be here. I mean, I think I was just watching practice for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, she looks like a world-class athlete, but you have those. I mean, there's been Phoenix College, as bad as football's been, at Phoenix College. There's kids within the last 7 years on a bad program that went D1 and now are in the NFL because of an opportunity, and they were and you have to do the math on it of if you save one kid's life of giving them opportunity to go D1 or go to the university, get everything paid for where their family can't afford it. Financial aid, the most you can get is $6,000, then loans. So that's not going to cover a USC or a Stanford. I mean, it doesn't cover it. Where athletics is a big deal. I'll tell you a quick story. So I'm at Phoenix College. I'm hanging out with Lan Jacobson, and I think Mark Mejia at the time, maybe. And this is back in 07, I think, 08, whatever year they went to the bowl game. So
08. Mm-hmm.
So it's a non-recruiting day. So no one's supposed to be recruiting, and the head coach of Notre Dame, I don't even know who it is. Do you know who that is? At the time in 08? He shows up, and then the head coach of
could have been Charlie Weiss?
Yeah, I think. I'm not good with the football, but and then the head coach of USC, who's now the head coach of Seattle in the NFL.
Oh, Pete Carroll, yeah.
Pete Carroll. They both show up in his office. Yep. I'm like, what the freak is going on? And I really didn't know who they were. You can tell by their presence and what they were wearing. And Pete Carroll told the Notre Dame coach, he goes, I won't say anything if you don't. Because they came recruiting for one player. And neither of them got him, and he ended up West Virginia. But that doesn't happen. I mean, it doesn't happen if it wasn't for athletics. And I get the stigma, they're athletes or whatever. Right. It saved his life. Because he came from, I forgot the name. Do you know who I'm talking about? He was a poly from Hawaii and then never played football before. But he's just a freaky athlete. Comes to Phoenix College, goes to West Virginia, finished at Utah, University of Utah.
Because that was after, because I know when Coach Wolfley left and he went to...
He brought all those players,
West Virginia, and then Coach Jacobson when he took over. But there was a few of those defensive linemen that, Coach Mejia had his connections, and I had Felipe Sparks on our show when it first broke because I talked to Felipe before, and I reached out to Coach Kirsting. I said, hey, I had you on last week. I'm like, is any chance I can get in touch with Felipe and talk to him? And he taught me. I called. He's like, Coach group messaged us, and he's like, give me a call. So I was talking to him on the phone. He goes, and we were talking for him. Like, hey, thanks so much. I go, I really appreciate it. I go, I really want to put, effort into this. I said, because it's a joke. It's about, he goes, this is just such bullshit. He goes, do they not understand what opportunity is? He goes, if it wasn't for Coach Kirsting, he goes, he goes, I didn't do bad in the classroom, but, Coach Kirsting would tell the best stories about going to recruit him and Darren Woodson. Anybody that knows local Valley football, those two were in the secondary together at Maryville, but then they were also in the backfield together, just destroying people. And Coach recruited both of them, and he thought he was actually going to get Woodson, and that Sparks would just go to ASU because they were both on him too. But that was when they started the whole Prop 88 thing. So Woodson actually went to ASU and sat for the year. And Felipe went to Glendale. They won their first national title after winning 3 games the season before. But he talked about that time, but what Coach Kirsting meant to him, even though he was, young in his coaching career and the opportunity, because how can you take away opportunity? None of them, he goes, they're all sound like politics. He was getting fired up on the show, so I just let him go. And he's like, how can they justify taking an opportunity away? And Coach Kirsting actually had called in. I had him surprised. I'm like, hey, call in, because Felipe said he could stay on for 2 segments when I talked to him the day before. So I had Coach Kirsting call in, and he's like, he goes, you gave me that opportunity, and he goes, it led to so many great things, and he goes, I would obviously never have a problem sending any of my kids to play, for you or at the junior college level. And Coach was like, because look how there are so many first, like you said, the first to graduate in your family, but there are so many first timers in football. They presented all this, but yet they're going to sit there and lie about numbers or misconstrue the numbers, not be transparent, take away opportunities and jobs, and just think that, oh, well, it's too expensive when they're not being transparent. And I haven't looked at attendance numbers, but Coach Madowski was even telling me that and Coach Kersing said it too, it's pretty much 1 to 3. So for every athlete that comes, they bring 3 friends. Because my theory is, well, if you got recruited and you're going there, my parents at 17, 18 years old are saying, well, you can either go work or you can go to school, but you're not just going to sit around and do nothing. So, so if you go to Phoenix College and I'm friends with you and I'm like, oh, he's going there, well, I'll go take classes with you. Like, I don't have to go full time. All I got to do is show an effort. So Coach Madowski's like, it's 1 to 3. So I don't see how they think their enrollment's going to even go up. I mean, people want to take the skill center class and things like that, but overall, enrollment's been down anyway, and they were complaining about that forever. You can't football. Well, you're going to lose a lot of bodies on campus.
Yeah, and it's and I always tell like every athletic director I talk to and everything, I'm like, we have to promote everything we do in athletics better. We have to tell the stories. Because we can't just assume they know. They don't know. And when you have, part of that committee that got rid of football, one of which that manipulated everything is our old AD at Phoenix College, who wrote a 2-page paper of getting rid of why they should get rid of football at Phoenix College, and he's on it. He's biased. He went and
exactly.
He wanted football gone so bad he found his way to get on it, and luckily he's retired now, and hopefully we'll never see him again. And he karma hits him hard, and I'll leave it at that. But But
no, he was a treat. I know he was. He was on that committee, and people. It was not. And I said unbiased, and for people that don't know that are listening, like in sarcasm, because it wasn't an unbiased committee or task force that was put on it. And when you have somebody like that has an agenda, like you want to get rid of. For what does it say? Like, oh, you want to take away opportunity? Like you were. It baffles me. And to even like one up that is when you look at. And the opportunity part, I was going to say to you, Coach, if you look at it, if you're going to can it, then you're going to say, oh, the kids will still come here anyway. No, they won't. And if other junior colleges, I know it's out of state, it's different. Every has their, it comes to a money thing, but every junior college, if they can play junior college, somebody might snag them up and be like, hey, you can come play here. And they're going to go and they're going to be gone. So, I mean, it's just, it's not even football. It's every sport. Because like you said, if they can drop football, they could drop everything. But then good luck with, you will really have bare minimum attendance. Yes, there are non-athletes going to school, and I get that, but your attendance would be a joke.
The one thing, because there's rumors that they're going to try to bring football back, and if they do, they got to change their approach because there is this whole winning mentality, winning at all costs, that really ruins all sports. And I've seen it. I've been around 20 years at PC, and I've been friendly with every football coach. And you've seen craziness where I've seen at times where they would bring on so many out-of-state kids to win, and we don't have dorms, we don't have food carts, and these kids are just racking up loans, and they're like in apartments, like 8 to an apartment, and it just it's more about winning versus saving lives. And I think at JUCO, wins are going to happen regardless. If you're a good coach, you can recruit the right way and stuff, but you can win with local talent. I mean, Glendale won a national title. That was local. They're local kids, but their coach is a Hall of Famer. That helps. But I think the mentality needs to change.
Kids sprinkled. Glendale did always have a few kids sprinkled from out of state, but they have family here. They had friends here. I know, like Chris McKenzie was here, and he was friends with Dale Robinson, who lived in New York, but he had a connection to come out here. And Dale Robinson played at Glendale, went on to ASU. And again, I'm not picking on PC or Scottsdale or even Mesa. Because, yes, if you have connections and they have figure right, but living 8 to an apartment and stuff like that, and they always try to restrict. I know the amount of out-of-state players you could have on a roster, and it makes sense if they have a way to be here and it works out, then 100% I'm with you. But it's crazy to think that in the amount of bodies that are on campus and the opportunities you're giving, because again, I always love these messages like, oh, we're about advancement and we're about the students, and everybody has that message, but it's like, oh, it's really about this and the students. No, it's about what somebody, a group of people decide this is what we're going to do. And when you look at it, like I said, I mean, Coach says, he goes, I'm not trying to cause fear, but when I had Coach Kirsting on the show, he was saying that, if they succeed in taking away football, how are other coaches? He goes, because we're all friendly. He goes, we root for each other. He goes, how are they going to go out and recruit? And you're going to be sitting in the room with the parents and the athlete, and the parents are like, well, I mean, what are the chances you're around after next year?
Yeah.
If they just can't football. But, I mean, I did see a thought too that they want to start beach volleyball, which again is, I mean, you need sand courts and a volleyball, so expense-wise isn't really crazy expensive. And I'm like, oh, so you're going to add.
It's not a demographic something that needs help.
Right.
And I'm against that. I love having sports and stuff, but we need to help the ones that need help, and that's the ones in football, soccer. Definitely, my whole team is first generation college students. The entire team.
Right. And you've told me that before, because I think I even said it, because I had Coach Kirsting on many a times during this whole initiative on the show, trying to push it forward and get people involved, just to understand, like, look, we're not just saying it because it's football. If it was like major Division I, that's a different story. But like a lot of these kids don't. This is another chance for them and an opportunity. And I said, because I told him, I call soccer games with Coach Cameron. We always talked about, because you did the championship game with me when South Mountain was back in the championship, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You were on that game. I mean, and their coach was talking about like when he came over, and you knew him, and I mean he was a very good player, and just as a coach, but like it was just the mindset, getting them in the classroom, getting them to understand, like, hey, you're not just going to show up and play games. So, I mean, it's just, and a lot of those kids at South Mountain didn't get looked at before because, okay, maybe they did get looked at, but then, I mean, you're a coach, recruiters talk, they're in groups like, oh, you're going to go check out that, they might try and steer, recruiters, they'll play little cat and mouse games about whoever they're looking at, but South Mountain wasn't getting looks, and he even told me, he's like, because they weren't doing it in the classroom, he's like, he turned it around, and those kids all played for him at such a high level. And it's like, you're taking away junior college, and a lot of those kids, they could be qualifiers, but they didn't get looked at because of older things, and he's trying to turn it around. And you take away junior college. And I said, but Coach Cameron, I know, has a ton. Long story short, too late. I used to tell Coach Chris, I know Coach Cameron. I go, I keep forgetting to ask him, but I'm like, I know he's had a ton of first, like you said, first generation. They're in college and they're playing a sport, and he's staying on them like, hey, your grades, it's important. Yes, we need to play, but if you can't perform, you can't play.
All I do, Mike, I always have talent. My kids are amazingly talented. I mean, we just played Grand Canyon University in spring ball before the closure. We were up 2-0 at halftime, and we ended up tying 2-2, but that's an NCAA Division I team.
Right.
And we looked really good. All I do is try to convince them to go to class. They can do it. Show them different ways to do and studying, how to find the proper tutor. I'm just trying to shape men. The soccer handles itself. I'm just trying to shape men, but I have to convince them nonstop, even just to come. I don't want to do school anymore. I'm like, it's not as hard as you think, and we put them in the right classes, and we make sure they're successful, and then they graduate, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're just shocked. And and the only reason I do that because I went through it. I didn't think I could graduate, but getting through those 2 years is crucial, and that's an area of kids that we need to work on. But I'm gonna have to let you go. My kids are all going nuts right now, and I have to get them online and doing all their stuff. But I really appreciate you coming on short notice during this quarantine. This is Coach Cameron with his guest Michael Carotenuto. Thank you so much for coming on, and I'd like to do this again with you before this quarantine is over.
And Oh, no. Yeah, well, we got time, so absolutely. And I look forward to sitting next to you calling a soccer game. Maybe a Phoenix College one. We need to talk and work something out. We can figure it out.
We can. I don't even have to coach. My assistants can do it. All right. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
See ya.